Okay, we'll start with Nick when you're ready.
Daniel, your first competitive game in charge as the new manager of Leeds United on Sunday. How excited are you about Sunday's game specifically and the challenge ahead?
Well, obviously, I'm looking forward to have this game. First game of the season is always exciting, and first game at Elland Road even more special. I was a few times at Elland Road, and I know the atmosphere is always great and outstanding, and especially the first game after the summer break. Yes, we're all looking forward to have this first competitive game under our belt. We had a proper pre-season so far, but right now the real stuff begins, and we're all looking forward to.
How's the squad looking, Daniel? I understand there's some injury concerns. Can you tell us about Patrick Manford and Jorginho Ruta specifically? How are they? Are they close for Sunday?
Yeah, so sadly we have had during the last 7 days some injuries. Patrick Bamford has got a hamstring injury. He won't return before the first international break, so he will miss definitely the next games with Jorginho Ruta. It looks slightly better. He's got a core injury, but he will definitely also miss out the game on Sunday and also next cup game. We hope that he will then return as quick as possible. So we hope that he's also able to play a few games before the international break, and I think this will work out. Sadly, also bad news with Matteo Joseph, because he rolled his ankle on Wednesday in training, and we feared a lot. So he was yesterday on crooks, but it looks even better right now than it was 2 days ago. So he will definitely miss the next 3 to 4 weeks, but because a ligament is damaged, but no surgery is needed, and but he will also definitely miss out the next games.
Okay, and the squad itself, I mean, the transfer window is still open. Now, do you expect, does that lend itself to the club being busy before the transfer window closes? Just the 2 signings so far, do you expect there will be some more new faces?
We're working hard, so I'm always realistic. We all know that we would need to strengthen the squad more or less in all areas. So thank God we brought Caldalo in right now in the goalkeeper position. I think we are really strong for this league, but in all areas we could need some additions on the centre half position, on fullback position, physicality in midfield, creativity in midfield, firepower up front. So there are many wishes, but we also have to stay financially disciplined. We know after relegation it's difficult. We know also about the situation with the exit clauses in the contract. No complaining about this. We just take the situation like it is, and for that we also have to be careful because perhaps we can't fulfill all the wishes and everything what is necessary, but I'm really confident, because I know the new key people here, and we are working unbelievably hard, and everyone tries his best in order to strengthen the squad. It's a bit too early to speak about our goals, our achievements, our targets, what we can achieve during this season, because we have to wait a little bit till the 1st of September, if I'm really honest. But we'll work on it, that we have the strongest possible squad anyhow to be as successful as possible. And yeah, for that a bit work is to do, definitely, but we go with what we've got, and I'm quite confident.
Thanks, Dan. Cheers.
Yeah.
Do you expect any more players to leave before the end of the transfer window?
We will see. There's no guarantee. So I've spoke quite honest about the situation. I don't like to sugarcoat it. So there were contract clauses anyhow that made sure that we are not in the driving seat in each and every moment. It's always bad when, as a club, you're not in the driving seat anymore. I think we have to learn our lessons also for the future out of this. But I have to say, all the people right now here are fully aware of this situation. It's a bit difficult to handle this, but no complaints about this, because the situation is like it is. Makes no sense to moan about this. No, we take it like it is and try to make the best out of this. So we know that during this transfer window, our hands are a bit tight in a few areas, but we are working unbelievably hard that the club is back in the driving seat, because this is what you have to do as a club if you want to be ambitious, that you control each and every situation. And with each every week we're going forward, I think the situation will improve, and I can't guarantee that there are no outgoings. But if I'm honest, we're working at the moment to strengthen our squad and not to weaken our squad. This is a fact, and let's see what the outcome is.
I understand that Sam Byram's been doing some work here. Is he likely to be offered a contract, or is that as far as it's going to go?
We are in talks, in concrete talks, and but also our style is that we just speak about business when it's done, and we're in talks with him, in trustful talks, also in good talks, also with him and his agent. And again, we will see what the outcome is. We wait. Sam, he had a really good preseason so far, but we just speak about business when it's done.
You've mentioned the injuries to Patrick Bamford, Jorginho Ruta, unfortunately Matteo Joseph as well. Where does that leave you for Sunday? Who's going to go up front?
Yes, in a bit difficult situation, because if you would have asked me 1 week before, we had all these 3 strikers available. Right now, obviously on this position we are a bit thin, but that's the nature of the season. So there will be always game days when you have some problems on the striker position, goalkeeper position, centre half position, because out of coincidence there are 2-3 injuries or bookings or illnesses at one day. This is quite normal, so I'm not too concerned. Yeah, no, have to be a bit creative to find a solution right now, but we are, so no worries about this. One thing is for sure, as long as we find 11 guys who wear this white shirt, anyhow, we are competitive in each and every game, and this is also what we will do at the weekend.
Last one from me. You've been in position a month now. Has anything surprised you so far about being the manager of Leeds United?
Not surprised, because I knew what a massive club this is, and also the expectations that come along, and I knew the situation would of course after relegation a bit difficult, but in a positive way surprised. I'm really with the reaction of my lads, because after relegation I was in this position before. Normally, as a club, you are there with a bit of a hangover. Also, as a player, you are used to lose games. Then we had many outgoings and some question marks and doubts. But I have to say how much the lads stick together. This is quite impressive for me, and they've worked unbelievably hard. So what I can say, the group at the moment on the training pitch is not overly big. We've just trained with 16 players today. It's not perfect when you want to be when you want to be ambitious, but as long as these 16 players are tied together and work unbelievably hard, you have always a chance. And we have the chance that some of the injured lads will come back hopefully soon. We have the chance that we also work on a few new signings. So I think our situation will just improve. And also the last 2 friendlies were quite impressive. I'm pleased with this. And for me, the most important topic is that we as a club have a new unity and togetherness. So I'm more or less not allowed to judge it so far, because I was never in this chair before. But my feeling also, like from the outside world, I always got the feeling that this club, especially our supporters, are always tied together and there when the club needs the most. So in difficult and tough times, and let's be honest, after relegation, it is a tough time at the moment. I always got the feeling the club and the players had the backing of the supporters even more in other times. And this is also what I feel at the moment. What I feel when we play our friendlies. There are perhaps even a few things to worry about or to be concerned, but I feel a lot positivity, and I feel also the attitude, as long as the lads work for the shirt and defend the shirt and work for the club, then everyone is happy and stick together. And I've got the same feeling at the moment, and we need our supporters. So we need them, especially in the next 3 or 4 weeks, till we have a really proper group together to carry us a little bit. And I feel this, and this is what makes me feel also quite positive, because I think this is our biggest value at the moment.
That's great, thank you. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Daniel, Daniel, you've done it twice before, obviously at Norwich City, and getting promoted as champions. How difficult do you think it will be to get Leeds out of this division, and does it feel like there's any similarities in terms of what you built there? It's obviously took time, didn't it, initially to get Norwich up?
Well, it's always good to have this experience. It's always good that you know what is necessary to be successful. I also had it in different positions. The first time we were promoted with Norwich, when just with a bunch of young lads and unknown players from the second and third tier anyhow, and we were able to win this league with 94 points. And the second season after relegation, also after being more or less in each of the game the favorite for each and every of our opponent, it was more or less the game of the season against Norwich. Then to also fulfill these expectations and to do it again was also a different experience, but also important to know, okay, what is necessary. So I think experience always helps. sadly it's not a guarantee that it will work again. But so in general, I know it's a hell of a task. So especially after relegation, it's a hell of a task, and we have a pretty special situation after relegation. We spoke quite intense about the contract situation, and that we start a bit later than all the other clubs to do our business due to the situation. You can't blame anyone for this. I know it's difficult, because the Premier League is by far the best league in the world. I can judge it. I've worked there. I've worked also in the Bundesliga. The Premier League is the best league in the world. But the Championship is the toughest. That's also for sure, and it's never easy to be successful on this level. But I'm still in a quite a good mood, because it's a joy to work with these lads, I have to say. I love the potential of our club. We also spoke quite open about our ambitions, and also my gut feeling with the key people. So they are smart. They have the right thoughts about this club, and I think on the mid and the long term, I'm 100% sure, because I'm a deep believer. You will always get what you're willing to invest, that this club will be successful and will fulfill his goals and his targets. It's difficult to predict at the moment how quick we can be, because it's a quick turnaround. But be sure we will work each and every day to be as successful as possible. And I'm definitely in a good mood so far.
Good stuff. Just last one from me. I'm just ask about another player in particular. Stuart Dallas. We've not had an update on him for a while. Obviously, it's a horrible injury he's had. Can you just give us a bit of an update on where he's at? In terms of like timescale, and what sort of person you think he is in player, really?
It's not possible to give it a timescale, because it was a bad injury, and we have to make sure that Stuart comes back as strong as possible, and we have to be careful. So for me, there's also no pressure and no rush. He gets all the time, because he has done so much for this club and is such an important player also for us, and also his personality in the dressing room. I love to have him around even during his rehab, because he's good for the mood, good for the confidence. It's always good for the young players when you watch next to you and you see Stuart Dallas next to you, and perfect personality in person, quite important for us as a group, and we give him all the time that he needs. It's too quick to give a time frame right now.
Thanks, and good luck Sunday, obviously.
Thank you.
Hey Daniel, a few players we haven't addressed injury-wise. You spoke about Jack and Tyler after the Monaco game. Can you give us an update on where they're at, and maybe Sam Greenwood?
Yes, improved after we spoke the last time 2 weeks ago. So I think Tyler is hopefully not too far away from returning back to team training. With Jack, it will last perhaps even a bit longer. I spoke about that. I just expect them to be really in the mix also for competitive games after the international break. Hopefully Tyler can return earlier, already back into team training, but he was out for such a long time. He needs also a bit training. It's not like, okay, he's back in team training and then just after 6 hours he can play the first competitive game. So he needs a few days of training. It will be the same with Jack. So I expect them just to be really in the mix after the after the first international break. The third guy was
Sam Greenwood.
Sam Greenwood, yeah, more or less the same. So much improved. I hope he's back in training in a couple of weeks. So it looks much improved. So I would say he's in the final stages of his rehab.
You've obviously got Carl Barlow involved now. You've got two very, very competitive goalkeepers for that one shirt. How are you going to manage that rivalry for places? We
need competition. So sometimes in terms of man management, it's a bit difficult. But as a coach, you ask for options, you ask for competition. That's what we need. So I would prefer to have this competition also on a few other positions. So like I mentioned before, so with the goalkeeper position, I'm quite pleased at the moment. But it's also clear that Elland will start if he stays fit the first game, and Carl came back in later. Unbelievable experienced guy, homegrown guy. Knows English football inside out. So we also with good performance so far on the training pitch. I'm happy that I have both of them and also all the other young guys. So on the goalkeeper position, at least there's no concern, no worry at all at the moment.
Thank you. Well, can you pass the mic with us?
Hi Daniel.
Hi.
Can I ask you about Archie Gray?
Of course.
A big talent, and it seems like he's been around for a long time, and there's a bit of speculation as to what role he's likely to play for you this season.
I've spoke a few times about, I know I've got the repetition to bring many young players through and to improve them, and we've done this, also at Norwich, for example, and but you know, they always get tough love from me, for myself. I don't like to praise young lads too early. I think in our generation it's a bit of a problem because they are so early superstars without having played the ball and something like this. So let's wait a bit. He's played a really good preseason. I've spoken about his development. I'm happy with him, but before he has played a proper amount of games, I'm not willing to sing the high praise of Archie Gray because I don't think it's healthy. So I'm in this terms also brave because when I got the feeling so a player is prepared, I play him. So it's not like I say, yeah, the youth our future. Everyone speaks about the youth our future, but this means then okay, in 5 or 6 years they get a few minutes in the game. No, when I got the feeling a player is prepared, he plays. But I just can bring him close to the door. He has to make the step through the door, and I'm never willing to praise them too early. So for me, it's more tough love. So when a player gets tough love from myself, and also when I'm strict with the player, he knows that he's on a good path because then I see lots of potential. And be sure, with Archie, I will be very, very strict also next weeks.
Is he ready for Sunday? Will it be involved?
We will see.
Okay, we're going to move on to the embargo section. If you're okay to cut cameras, please.